morning. So we spoke last night about what you were concerned about in the speech, and we talked about you're worried that how you're going to be received, that you didn't want to be confrontational, but you really wanted your thoughts heard. And I think I was looking, I stopped listening to you for a while and started looking around, and everybody was really, they were engaged. I didn't see any faces of, oh, I don't like what she's saying. There was no negativity in anybody's face. Nobody felt defensive. And so you were well received. And I think that a lot of the reason why is because we talked about that is smiling. That your face was non-confrontational. And it was coming from here and not from here, like I'm right and everybody's wrong. So I don't think anybody felt that you were telling them this is the way it is, but this is the way I feel. And it's interesting because I'm going to go to the story about the man with you, on kneeling. And because I think because this is interesting, because of the way you kind of brought in the defense, like being defensive about what people say, that I was at first like everybody else, can't believe he said that. But then as I started thinking about it and listening to Mason talk about being non-defensive, so I'm thinking, wow, I think if I would have been in that situation, I would have looked at him like, are you really? Like, instead of being defensive, I would have laughed. Because I think that's where he was coming from. So when your whole speech is about being defensive, and I think sometimes we, like Mason said, we bring it all about us, like me, instead of thinking, where did that come from? Or maybe even thinking about more like, what is it about me that made me defensive over it? Is there some little bit of truth in it? So, that kind of, it was an interesting speech to hear because I didn't hear Brad's, because you had told me about it, I didn't have a chance to listen to it. But this is an example for everybody who's newer here, even the more veterans like me, is that Jessie is the most amazing speaker. Her voice inflection, her body movements, her hand movements, her everything she does is so good that when you're when you're trying to get feedback to something like that, it's not easy. So everything you did was really, in a way, perfect for the speech craft. Your humor was really good, balancing the seriousness of your speech. Your intro was really great. It really, it brought us in. It gave, everybody was at attention now. I like your suggestion of defensiveness over curiosity, and turning it into curiosity. I really like that. You had great facial expressions, and your smile was part of the whole thing that brought it together, and the humor that you brought in. The one thing I want to ask you to think about is I felt that your ending was very negative about the assume being you and me. And I want you to think about maybe making it more positive. Thank you.